Greetings, everybody. My name is Dr. Shyam Rane. I am a research fellow at City University of London, the Center for Compressor Technology. And together with my colleagues, I would like to welcome you to our presentation on CFD analysis of ORC vein expander using OpenFOAM Solver. This work was done at City University of London in collaboration with University of L'Aquila and Brunel University of London. Here is a brief outline of the presentation. Starting with a small introduction, I would like to explain the ORC vein expander which has been used in the current study, the numerical methodology that has been applied, with a special emphasis on the grid generation of vein machines, and how the CFD model is coupled together in the OpenFOAM solver. Some of the important results in terms of pressure and temperature distribution and the expander performance will be discussed later, followed with conclusions and some future scope. Organic Rankine cycle expanders for heat to power generation commonly use sliding vane machines. We know that these machines have good volumetric efficiency, but they still have losses which are associated with the leakage between the vane tips in the housing. Also, there are leakage losses across the end faces. They also have a limitation in terms of the expansion ratio, which is a fixed, and it is governed by the size of the machine. Because of these two conditions, there is a limited power density that can be obtained from an vane expander. To increase the power density, some methods have been discussed in literature and also they have been put into practice. One of them is supercharging. In supercharging, when the initial inlet or the filling process is over or towards the end of completion, a second inlet is opened and additional working fluid is injected into the expander. These various mechanisms of improving the performance of the ORC expander can be carefully studied using CFD simulations. In that respect, some literature is available. For example, Montenegro in 2014 has presented a dual stage ORC expander. Similarly, in 2015, a study has been presented with ANSYS CFX for an ORC expander single stage. Later, from 2016, some developments happened in customized grid generators together at City University and University of L'Aquila, and validation case studies have been presented with ANSYS CFX solver for expanders as well as some types of compressors. In the current research, the objective was to extend this customized grid generation with open source CFD solver OpenFOAM version 1912. In the left corner, you can see a plot of a pressure varying inside the chamber, and this was validated by Bianchi et al. In 2019 with the ANSYS CFD solver, CFX. We have taken the same case and tried to implement that test case with OpenFOAM solver. The test case is a 7-chamber R245FA vane expander. You can see the diagram of the timing of the machine in the cross section. The red curve is associated with the filling process, whereas the blue is the discharge process, which is labeled here as intake and exhaust. In addition, there is an auxiliary port which is associated with the supercharging. Some brief dimensions of the expander are given here, and in the experimental setup, 3 test cases where test case data were collected, which are associated with different filling pressure and filling temperature, and at the corresponding operating condition and speed, we have received the internal pressure variation in the chamber together with the performance data, which has been used here for verification of the CFD model. The methodology consists of 2 sets. In the first set, a deforming grid generation is employed independent of the CFD solver, and this grid generation uses the SCORGE framework, which is developed at City University. Parallel to that, the port mesh is generated from the CAD model, and they are brought together in the required CFD solver, which in this case is CFX, and we are comparing that with OpenFOAM. The results are then post-processed in terms of performance and the pressure and temperature maps within the domain. For OpenFOAM, it was not directly available, so a customized solver has been developed which integrates the SCORGE grid generator for vane type of rotors, and experimental data is used for evaluation or the quality of the results obtained. In this table here, you can see the solution variants. There are 3 cases corresponding to the 3 experimental data sets available. In the tip clearance, a constant 25 micrometer gap has been employed, which remains constant throughout the rotation of the vanes. Whereas in the axial direction, which are the two axial faces of the vane rotor, two cases have been taken. One is without the axial leakage gap and one is with 50 micrometer leakage gap. Accordingly, the cases have been labeled as A and B. A is associated with no end leakage. B is with 50 micrometers end leakage. And they are with two solvers, ANSYS CFX version 19 and OpenFOAM version 19.12. A few words on the Scorch grid generator. It has been originally developed for twin screw compressors, as you can see in the uh, animation here. So because the quality of mesh required is quite stringent in twin screw compressors, we were able to achieve a very good grid quality control when the grid generator was employed for vane machines. Here you can see the vane expander grid. The deforming part of the rotor is generated using Scorch, and the stationary part is generated for CFX using the ANSYS meshing platform and for OpenFOAM using the SnappyHex mesh utility. In the solver, these domains are coupled together or numerically combined together using non-conformal interfaces. The principle of vane grid generator is based on first starting with the vane rotor profile and the housing. In our case, the housing is also circular, but there can be designs where the housing is elliptical, such as the dual stroke vane machines. In this vane expander, it is a circular housing and there are 7 vanes. Scorch has an internal vane profile generator, which takes the offset between the rotor and the stator, the number of vanes that are required, the radial gap, and some dimensions associated with the vane thickness, the tip radius, and vane or rotor radius. Based on this, the vane profile is generated, and the grid generation is done in 2D cross sections, first starting with an algebraic approach of a transfinite interpolation, as you can see in this mesh example here. This mesh quality is then improved by applying a differential grid generator, which is translated here into the blue diagram. It is then combined together to form the three-dimensional mesh of the rotors. And for the ports, for CFX, we have employed a tetrahedral mesh to capture the boundary surfaces. And in case of OpenFOAM, it is a SnappyHex mesh, which is a polyhedra cell structure. In terms of the arrangement of the expander itself, the rotor is connected to the filling port, which is the main inlet boundary condition, where we have the data from experiment for temperature and pressure. After 13.7 or after 40 degrees rotation, there is a 13.7 degree overlap for the supercharged inlet port. This is further expanded and then it gets open to the discharge port where we have the outlet boundary condition. There are 3 interfaces. The radial interface is between the inlet ports and the rotors, and there are 2 axial interfaces with the discharge port, which are shown here. The OpenFOAM solver, as I mentioned earlier, is a customized solution that has been provided. It was developed at University of Ferrara with our partners in the development of OpenFOAM solution. And in terms of implementation, it consists of 2 libraries. One labeled here is the solver library, which works during the calculation procedure. And another one labeled here is the pre-processing library, which takes the data generated from Scorch grid generator and translates it into a mesh which is suitable for working with OpenFOAM. Both these libraries can be customized and different rotor combinations can be handled. Within the twin screw compressor framework, we can have rotor to casing mesh for the 2 rotors, or casing to rotor non-conformal mesh for the 2 rotors, or a single domain mesh for the 2 rotors. We can also have the theoretical discharge port and the suction port as shown in the plot here. For the vane machines, we can have the vane expander as a single rotor, or it could be a compressor depending on the updating of the grid files that happens with time. Discussing the results, first we present the pressure distribution in the working chamber of the expander with ANSYS CFX solver. Here you can see the experimental data is the dotted black curve, which is compared with the blue and the dotted red curve, which are the 2 cases from ANSYS CFX solver. A very close match is obtained in the initial filling process of the expander, followed by the pre-expansion, and also during the expansion process, followed by the discharge. In the animation, you can see results from ANSYS CFX solver. for the pressure variation. The inlet is around 540 kilopascal pressure, and when it expands, it reduces to around 280 kilopascal towards the discharge. This solver ANSYS-CFX has been validated in previous two literature by Bianchi et al. With ANSYS-CFX solver. Now we are comparing the results between ANSYS-CFX and OpenFOAM for the pressure distribution. A cross section is taken across the mid length of the rotor. 5 probe locations have been indicated here. 1 is at the inlet port. 2, 3 are during the expansion process. Now probe number 4 is when the discharge port is opened, and probe number 5 is when the discharge port is closed. And here you can see some of the angles associated with those timings. This is the plot of pressure distribution in CFX, and this is the plot of pressure distribution on OpenFOAM. As you can see, a close match is obtained in the pressure distribution in most of the cycle, in the filling, expansion, as well as discharge. And in the next slide, we will compare the pressure distribution across the probe locations. First, looking at probe locations 1, 2, 3, and 4. A close match in pressure as well as temperature is observed during the expansion and the filling process. A small difference in the temperature is observed in terms of what happens when the vane passes across the probe locations. In case of OpenFOAM solver, we experience a dip in the temperature, whereas in case of a CFX solver, we experience a slight increase in the temperature when the vane tip passes through it. Overall, there is a good matching between the pressure and the temperature across the probe locations 1 to 4. Here is a comparison of the temperature variation in the two solvers. As you can see in ANSYS-CFX, a uniform or a good balance in temperature is obtained within 80 to 95 degrees Celsius. 96 or 95 degrees Celsius is the filling temperature, and as the expansion process, it reduces to 80 degrees Celsius. When we compare this with OpenFOAM solver, there is an irregular temperature distribution obtained, especially at the tip of the vane profile when it passes through the high pressure zone. This looks like an unphysical phenomena and mostly associated with numerical problems with the solver. If we look at probe number 5, which is after the outlet is closed, a very high pressure rise is experienced. This is because the chamber is now isolated from the inlet port as well as the discharge port. In case of CFX solver, the pressure rise goes to around 600 kPa, whereas with OpenFOAM solver, it goes beyond that up to 1000 kPa or 10 bar. In terms of temperature distribution, the nature of temperature distribution is similar, but we experience a slightly higher temperature rise in the OpenFOAM solver at this probe location. Since test data is not available at this probe point, it was difficult to validate these particular results. Looking at the cyclic quantities such as mass flow rate across the two inlets and the torque variation on the rotor, we can see that there is a difference in the nature of fluctuation of the torque. 3 cycles have been plotted here, and with respect to ANSYS-CFX solver, you can see that there are 2 pulses within each cycle, whereas with OpenFOAM solver, there is a single pulse in each cycle. This difference can be associated with a difference in the implementation of the boundary condition, which was defined as pressure inlet. In comparison, the torque variation is more or less of a similar nature, but there is a difference in the magnitude of average torque. Overall performance comparison with experiment and the two solver indicates that the mass flow at the suction or the two inlets is underpredicted by the two solvers, whereas the torque is overpredicted in all the cases. In comparison between CFX and OpenFOAM, the trend of variation is of a similar nature, but there are differences in the average magnitude of flow and torque estimated. This brings to our conclusion that OpenFOAM solver can be used for CFD analysis of vane expanders, but there are difficulties, especially because it was found to be, as compared to ANSYS-CFX, which was much more stable, it was difficult to handle OpenFOAM solver, especially with the non-conformal interfaces. Also, the R245FA fluid needs to be handled using a real gas equation of state such as Speng-Robinson, but the OpenFOAM solver was found to be unstable with this specification. In a separate exercise, ANSYS-CFX was much robust and could easily handle data from RefProf as well as Speng-Robinson and other real gas equations. Indicated pressure traces agreed well between the two solvers during the filling as well as expansion process, but large differences were observed in the peak pressure, which is found after the outlet port is closed, and unphysical temperature distribution was found in this region in the OpenFOAM solver, which could be associated with some numerical issues. Cyclically averaged performance data was compared with the test data, and it was found that mass flow rate through the main inlet was highly underpredicted, while the torque was overpredicted by the OpenFOAM solver. It was more or less comparable between the two solvers. This leaves us some scope for the future in terms of improving the validation with respect to experiment. One of the aspects what we suspect is that the timing of the closing of the outlet port is not exactly as it was in the experimental data. So if this timing is played with, for example, if the outlet port is closed at some later angles, there are chances of direct leakage between the inlet port and the outlet port, which will result into two physical effects. First is the main inlet flow will increase, and this will also result into an opposing torque, which will reduce the net torque and power output from the expanders. And both these trends are being observed when we compare the experimental data with the CFD data. So in future, we will try to test few CFD cases with small increments in the angle of the outlet port and see how it impacts the performance estimated from the expander, and if we are able to get more closer to the test data. With this, I would like to thank you for your attention, and you're welcome to raise any questions that you have. Thank you.